Hello everyone, my name is Mike. I work here at the Scott County Public Library in Georgetown, Kentucky. And welcome to the second part of our three-part series about preparing coffee. Now if you remember, last Thursday I discussed how to roast your coffee beans and how to store them. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to grind your coffee beans and how to brew your coffee using the French press method. Now next Thursday we'll have Cameron, and he'll discuss another method called the pour-over method to brew coffee. But today, I'm going to show you the French press method. Now, how do you grind coffee? There are different ways. Now, back in the old days, they used something like this, a hammer or a big rock. But I use this. I use what's called a Burr Grinder, and this has big burrs inside, like big plates. And they actually crush the coffee beans, and it makes for a very uniform type of grind. Now, I have to tell you, these aren't cheap. This is, if I remember correctly, it's $150. Now, there is another type of grinder. It's a blade grinder. You can find those anywhere, and it's a lot cheaper. And it uses a spinning blade to cut the beans into a grind. Now, the grind is not as uniform, but it will work if you don't want to spend $150 on a Burr grinder. Now, it's important when you're brewing your coffee to actually weigh things. You have to weigh the coffee beans and you have to weigh the water. Why? Now, why is that important? Because that's the way you adjust the level, the intensity of your coffee. If you have more water in there than coffee, it's going to be a weaker coffee, and vice versa. Now, I've experimented over the years with different proportions, and I found that a 15 to 1 portion works well for me. And what I mean by that is 15 parts water and 1 part coffee. Now, how does that translate into your coffee cup? Most coffee cups are 250 grams of water. So if you're having 2 cups of coffee, which is what I normally have, you're talking about 500 grams of water for your coffee. Now you divide the 500 by 15, and you come up with 33 1/3 grams of coffee beans that you should grind. So let's weigh this. I do recommend that you get a digital scale because that'll help you a great deal. You don't want to guess on this stuff. Now these are the beans I roasted last Thursday. Okay, well, that's close enough, so we'll work with that. I just want to prepare you. This is loud. I've become accustomed to this noise for 10-15 years. It's a sweet sound to me. Now I want to show you something about the grind. This is what I just ground, okay? And what I have here is espresso. And I hope you can see it, but the espresso grind is a lot finer than what I just ground. You do not, when you're using the French press method, you do not want a very fine grind. You do not want to use espresso, because it'll gunk up your French press and you'll end up with gritty coffee. Now, if you like gritty coffee, then by all means go with espresso. Anyway, you want something a little bit coarser for your French press. So, one thing you'll notice too, the smell. Freshly roasted coffee smells a lot like coffee, believe it or not. But the stuff that you buy in the store has a stinky smell. It does smell fresh. So just to let you know about that. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to put the coffee I just ground in my French press, like that. Okay. And you also want to measure your water. Remember, we measured our beans. And so we're going to measure our water. And what we say? 500 grams, right? So you do it slowly. And then you use your wooden spoon. Just get the grounds a little bit wet. Otherwise the grounds will float up when you pour more water into it. And then continue to pour the hot water in there. It should be just below boiling. You don't want it boiling because it'll give you a bad flavor. So I'm looking for 500 grams of water in here. Okay, I went a little bit over, which isn't bad. Then you stir it a little bit, and I emphasize a little bit. Now why? If you're the type of person who really gets into stirring things, don't drink coffee, or at least don't do it this way, because if you stir an awful lot in here, you're going to stir in a lot of oxygen, and that oxidizes the coffee. In coffee circles, we call it hot side aeration, HSA. People who brew beer also know about this. So just a little bit of stirring, then put the top back on, and I like to steep it for 4 minutes, but we do not have 4 minutes to spare. So when I need to really make things go faster, or I really want my coffee really fast, what I do is I pull out my 2 magic wands, and there's a time-space continuum that these affect. So abracadabra, time, go faster. So 4 minutes in less than a minute. What you do now is you gently press down on this. There should be some resistance. And you press down. And what this is doing is pressing the grounds that are saturated in the water down to the bottom. And then you pour your coffee in your coffee cups. So 500 grams is just about right if you want to add some sugar and water, or sugar and milk. If you don't want sugar or milk in there, you can make more than 500 grams. So that's all I have for you folks, and be sure to come back next Thursday for Facebook Live at 3 o'clock when Cameron will show you another method of brewing coffee, and it's called the pour-over method. Take care, folks.